characters in The Wizard of Oz do you most closely resemble, and why? Which of the characters in The Wizard of Oz do you most closely resemble, and why? Kathi Finch.
Madam Contest Chair, fellow Toastmasters, guests. In thinking through all of the characters of The Wizard of Oz, I think I'd have to most closely relate to Dorothy. All of the other characters certainly have their merits, and by the end of the movie, they've all achieved their dreams, right? The Tin Man found his heart, the Scarecrow found his brain, the Lion found his courage, and Dorothy got to go home. I see The Wizard of Oz as a metaphor for Dorothy's journey, finding out really the path that she wants to be on and where she wants to go in her life. And I can really relate to that. I may be 39 years old, but I'm still in the process of figuring out what I want to be when I grow up and what is my purpose in this world. And Dorothy's journey and her beautiful shoes. Honestly, I'm kind of a shoe nut too. Dorothy's journey is something that speaks to me. I may not have a literal yellow brick path in front of me, but I'm certainly looking for it. And I hope that I can have as wonderful a journeying team with me as she had with her. I've got some great friends and family who are helping me, and certainly my Toastmasters family is helping me do that as well. So if I had to pick a character, because of her fabulous shoes and the journey she's on, I'd pick Dorothy. Thank you.
Haines. Which of the characters in The Wizard of Oz do you most closely resemble, and why? Which of the characters in The Wizard of Oz do you most closely resemble, and why? Amanda Haines.
But I'm scared of a mouse. Fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, as far as The Wizard of Oz goes, I have to say I most closely resemble the Cowardly Lion. Of course, we could probably compare my beautiful, long, blonde locks, but that's not the real reason. I act tough all the time. I served in the Marine Corps. I have worked my way through the workplace. I'm trying really hard to be successful, but there's things that I'm really afraid of. To be honest, I'm scared to death right now. And to be honest, I think we're all really afraid, just like the Cowardly Lion. But whenever we get out there into the world, we just do what we have to do. We do what we need to provide for the ones that we care for. The Cowardly Lion, he met Dorothy and his friends, and he was there for them until the very end. And the wizard told him, "You already have your courage. No one needed to give that to you." And sometimes we all feel like we need something to show that we have courage or that we're not afraid. It's inside all of us. And personally, I have to remind myself sometimes that I have the ability to do pretty much anything. So I have to say that whenever I'm going through life, I could look at myself sort of like the Cowardly Lion, and I think that you all could probably do the same. Thank you.
Our next contestant is Reynolds. characters in The Wizard of Oz do you most closely resemble, and why? Kara Reynolds.
Well, standing here now before everybody, I'm not going to say the lion, because here I am. Actually, performance notwithstanding, I think I do resemble the Scarecrow. The Scarecrow, like all the other characters, had the trait they were seeking all along. They just didn't believe in themselves. Not to toot my own horn, I'm kind of smart. Just saying. I'm not bad. But I don't always believe in myself as much as I could when it comes to my abilities. And in that way, I kind of feel like the Scarecrow. I kind of feel like I'm always the one saying, well, I don't really know about this, but we could do something, and it ends up working out. And through the whole movie, that's what the Scarecrow is doing. I don't really know if we should be doing this, but if I had a brain, I would be saying this. That's kind of how I feel about myself. I don't know much about the heart. I don't really have one. But I never actually felt bad about it, so the lion seeks bravery. I never sought that either. I'm okay saying I'm a coward. But I always did feel an affinity towards the Scarecrow. Maybe because when my mom gets nervous, she's always humming If I Only Had a Brain to herself, so I'm caught up on that. I've caught myself in the store. But I think overall, between the characters, I do have some level of intelligence. Sorry, it's true. But I don't think that I always necessarily use it or realize it until it's already after the fact. So if I had to choose a character, I would say the Scarecrow.
Contestant is Charlie Wilson. Which of the characters in The Wizard of Oz do you most closely resemble, and why? Which of the characters in The Wizard of Oz do you most closely resemble, and why? Charlie Wilson.
Madam Contest Chair, fellow Toastmasters, guests, and wife. When I was a child, I was the Cowardly Lion. Because the very first time I ever spoke was at a Christmas presentation in the 2nd grade. And the parents were there. My mother was sitting in the back. And I was scheduled to go last with an original poem. And as we went through the program and it became what I thought was my turn to speak, I stood up. The teacher said, no, not yet. I looked back, and my mother was crying, and I began to cry. And I never wanted to speak after that. But as I grew older, I became the Scarecrow, the rebel, wild hair. But now that I've gotten the age I am, with all the replacement parts I have, you may have noticed when I stepped onto the stage, I squeaked. So now I'm the Tin Man. So the only one I haven't been is the Wicked Witch of the West. That's next on my list.
Oz do you most closely resemble and why? Which of the characters in The Wizard of Oz do you most closely resemble and why? Michael Stanley.
I love questions that make you take a big hard look at yourself. Contest chair, fellow Toastmasters, and honored guests. I love questions that make you take a big hard look at yourself. Because usually, there's 3 options. There's the one you hope for, the one you're afraid of, and the one that's close to the truth. So the one I would hope for is I would be the Wizard of Oz. The great and powerful, terrible Wizard of Oz who sits on his throne and gives the advice to everybody and they listen. I'm afraid I'm probably the weak monkey. I'm probably the minion of the wicked, evil witch who flies around and does her bidding. But then the truth is harder. The truth is the one that you have to look into yourself and come up with an answer. And the ones that I want to talk about is the Tin Man, the Scarecrow, and the Lion. And which of those am I most likely? Well, if I only had a brain, I got a pretty good brain, so I'm not going to go with the Scarecrow. If I only had a heart, in all modesty, folks, I'm all heart, let me tell you. So, not the Tin Woodsman. If I only had courage. Yeah, the Lion. The Lion is me. Like Darren was talking about this morning, that first step is hard. And I have goals and dreams and aspirations that I want to reach for, that I am afraid to take the first step. It's scary out there. I'm safe. I'm comfortable where I'm at. I'm not going anywhere, but I'm safe. So I, ladies and gentlemen, in all truth, would have to be the cowardly lion. But keep tuned. I'm not going to be cowardly for long. I will roar, and everyone will hear me. I thank you for your attention.